Hey guys, I'm ready to kind of like show off, you know, just not really show off, but show what guitars I have. I have quite a bit in my collection. I have a lot of classical guitars. So the first classical guitar that I have is, to be honest with you, I don't know what it is. I mean, I know it's a classical, but if you look here, there's no label. So let me explain. So I got this guitar about 3 years ago, and I got a Guitar Center used for about $200. Now you're like, why would I pay $200 for a guitar with no label? But this guitar sounds really good, and for $200, I'd say it's well worth it. And you'll hear some sound samples later, but if you look at this, was it the specs here? Well, let's start from the body. Okay, the body is solid, a cedar top, and for a $200 guitar, it's not too bad. There's some wear on the paint or the lacquer, but it's okay. And the rosette's pretty nice. That's pretty ornate rosette for a cheap guitar, I would say. But what's interesting about this thing not having a label, I know you can't see with this camera, but it seemed like there was a label, because inside there is like this rectangular discoloration. It looks like there should be a label there. So I think someone took out a label, and then, so I think this guitar is actually worth more than $200, but because Guitar Center doesn't know who made this guitar, they had to sell cheaper. If you get the back, it looks really nice. I believe this is kind of a figured mahogany. So we have figured mahogany back and sides. And what's interesting is these are actually solid back and sides. So you're not going to get that on a $200 guitar. So that's a pleasant surprise. And if you look at the neck, there's actually a quarter sawn neck. And I believe this is I think a cedar neck. Usually classical guitars tend to be that way, cedar neck. And tuning machines, nothing special. But yeah, and then the fingerboard is a rosewood. So this definitely isn't like a high-end classical guitar, but it's definitely, I think, worth more than $200. But give me a couple of sound samples. Alright, so here's a sound sample of this no-name guitar, which probably did have a label. So obviously this thing has a lot of range. It's pretty decent. The only problem is this guitar. It's somewhat kind of hard to play, but classic guitars tend to have higher action. So if you look at action, it's really high. I mean, if you're an electric guitar, you're like, oh my goodness, look at that high action. But for a classical guitar player, this tends to be okay. And I got kind of used to playing with high action a little bit. But you know, I guess I do prefer a low action. But this thing doesn't fret out because it has such high action. You pluck as hard as you want. You know? And it doesn't fret out. But obviously, it's a sacrifice of, you know, playing comfortably, I guess. But that's part of kind of thing about classical guitar. But overall, I'd like to say this is a pretty good instrument.